is all for the show. We've got David back with us, Sabrina, Charlie. Charlie, the whole goal here is to kind of shame others into hiking their minimum wage as well. Will it happen?
I don't know, but there's an interesting second part of this that I'll point out, is that these bigger corporations like Panera Bread or McDonald's that are coming out in favor of a higher minimum wage, we have to realize that it's not necessarily the worst additional cost for these bigger corporations. So for a small mom-and-pop store on Main Street, a minimum wage hike in a public policy sense would really negatively harm them. So what I think these companies are trying to do is they're trying to get ahead of the curve, anticipate it, so when there is a minimum wage hike in Congress, they're already there and mom-and-pop go out of business. So it's their way of crowding out competition preemptively.
You're way too young to be that jaded. But,
well, thank you.
But actually, it's very clever. I didn't think of that. But Sabrina, he is right to say that there is a big difference between a large retailer like a Gap or IKEA, hiking their minimum wage and a mom and pop shop, right?
Of course, and not only might it put the mom and pop shop out of business, but at the same time, a place like McDonald's might be introducing an app to replace the job altogether. So they can say, you know what, raise the minimum wage. We don't even need people. We need an app to do this to the cashier and to exchange money. And let's also be careful. I mean, companies like the Gap, it's great to feel sort of high and mighty that you're able to raise the minimum wage. But just a couple of months ago, that they were under intense scrutiny for their sweatshops overseas. So none of these companies are quite so perfect. Right.
Do you notice the young people that they have a very nasty tone?
What I notice is somebody has something against IKEA here. First of all, I like their Swedish meatballs, horse meat or no horse
really?
meat.
Well, just talk to Mr. Ed.
Secondly, I wouldn't have had a stick of furniture if it hadn't been for IKEA back when I was in my 30s, many, many years ago. But and thirdly, this is better than Obama's one-size-fits-all plan, his 39% rise in the minimum wage.
They're all caving, David. Don't you see what's going on?
Look, if they decide that they can squeeze their profit margin to the point where they can pay their workers a little more money, what's wrong with that?
You're encouraging them to serve more cheap horse meat Swedish meatballs.
Bring on the horse meat. I liked it the last time I had it.
Okay, well, it does. It tastes like chicken. All right, well, Charlie, bottom line, you're going to see more towns, municipalities doing this. Seattle looking at a $15 minimum wage. Pushing it. There's a district in California where
that's government, Neil. That isn't a private company.
I'm joining them all together to link this idea where we are going to be grateful if the minimum wage ends up just being $10.10 an hour. And that's where this is going. What do you think, Charlie?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that when you're seeing these companies try to set this precedent, I think Sabrina's exactly right. You're seeing the advanced mechanization of labor. So sure, $15 an hour for the now 5 employees that will work at a Gap store instead of the 15 that we're working. Because then they'll have automated checkout, and they'll have machines fold all the clothes, and they'll have, all these different ways to mechanize their labor. So sure, $15 an hour sound really good, but guess what, Neil? Now there's going to be a machine making your horse Swedish meatballs, not a person.
I'm not going to touch
in
IKEA. Won't touch him.
So,
I won't touch him.
And of course, who's going to be hurting the most? Sorry, go ahead.
Absolutely. So the advanced mechanization is going to raise minimum wage.
Right, and the people who are going to hurt the most are the people who Charlie's interested in, right? Those lower skilled, younger employees who are trying to break into the job market. Women are definitely going to be at a disadvantage, many of whom are part-time workers. Those jobs are going to be gone first. So, of course, I mean, the bottom line and what IKEA, what the Gap, what others are just ignoring is that when you increase the minimum wage, it increases the cost of hiring, and that is bad.
Well, when it's mandated, but hold on, Sabrina, that's only when it's mandated by the government. Sure. If they make up their mind that it's good business to pay their workers more, then they'll be in business. If it's bad business, they'll be out of business. Swedish meatballs or not.
No, I agree. That's fine. It's just that if they're doing it to sort of set the precedent and put pressure on businesses that can't afford it, that's going to be a net loss for workers.
Wait until your kids are old enough to make the minimum wage. My kid is, and she is making minimum wage. I'm kind of glad when they find a way to increase the wage.
Well, when you get really old, like my daughter just retired. That's how old I am.
Is that her line now?
Guys, I want to switch gears. It's a little goofy, but I've been following it. This soccer thing, World Cup is big. Apparently, it's huge. But here's what's outrageous, and maybe it surprised me, the off-the-chart ratings and attention this is getting all over the world, but especially our country and a lot of the locked-in sponsorship deals and a lot of the attention to this. Charlie, what's going on here?
I'm loving watching it personally. There's a certain romanticism this year to the World Cup. We were super underdogs. Our best player, supposedly Landon Donovan, didn't even make the team, but yet we're the huge underdogs we overcome in a true American sense. And
the argument was, Sabrina, that it couldn't be that big here because they don't stop. It's nonstop. Furthermore, it takes a long time to get to a goal or whatever. Didn't we find out with Germany? But my point was, I don't even understand how we're still in the damn thing when we lose. It's okay, we're still in, that's fine. But is the education process part of it? What's behind it clicking?
I think part of it is that there's big, groups, the AYSO. I grew up with AYSO every Saturday morning. Every kid in Southern California was playing soccer, and now they're grown up and they like watching it. I take my own kids to soccer games. They're interested in watching it. So I think we've had sort of this, it's continuous. It's grown here. So maybe it's replacing football, replacing baseball.
Davey.
I don't like it. I'm bored by it. I don't care if we win. I'm with you, Neil. When we lose, they're still cheering about it. I don't understand it. I don't get it. And they changed the rules. We were winning until the refs came in and said, okay, give the other team 5 extra minutes.
Don't even get me started on Ghana.
There's a lot of drama, the biting and the falling down, the groaning.
I know. Where's Evander Holyfield? Like, give that man a soccer outfit. All right, well, we roared, and now